Well, good evening. Anyone who hasn't had a chance to stand up yet, please stand up. Come on. Thank you for coming. And welcome to this beautiful new joint use facility. As you've heard, is a product of cooperation between the city and the PUSD. And I did want to acknowledge the contractors that built this beautiful place, and that's Schenck Developers. Are they here tonight? They deserve some recognition. First, let me say that it's a real privilege to serve you as your mayor, and I appreciate your attendance tonight, particularly on an inclement evening. I also appreciate my wife Maria's presence, as well as my son Joshua and his wife Claudia. Thank you for coming. Last year, as many of you remember, I devoted the entire state of the city to the subject of finances. This year I'll devote some time to finance, but I'll also discuss a related topic, which is one of the most controversial and least understood subjects confronting our city, new development. And finally, I'll talk about a new initiative related to the Arroyo Seco. All three topics relate to keeping Pasadena's future bright. The city charter provision passed by the voters in 1998 requires that in January of each year, the mayor present a thematic budget message for the stated purpose of receiving and considering public suggestions and comments to the city budget prior to its preparation and ultimate approval by the city council. That's a mouthful, but tonight we're going to continue our new tradition of focusing on the city's budget priorities as required by our charter. Last year, I reviewed the basics of Pasadena's finances, demonstrated that we don't have much control over revenue growth, and that our spending choices have serious constraints. Here's a summary, just a brief summary refresher. Chart A shows that our general fund revenues are approximately $238 million. There won't be a quiz tonight, folks, but I do commend to you the pamphlet, for those of you that are really interested in this stuff, that you'll be offered on your way out. The city's annual report, all the information I'm going to convey to you will be pretty much contained in here. The four biggest individual sources which account for more than half the revenue are property tax, $57 million, sales tax, $35.5 million, utility users tax, $30.4 million, I don't blame it, and transient occupancy tax, $14.6 million. Everything else, charges, fees, unpredictable government transfers, $100.5 million. Increasing development and rising property taxes will continue to be our primary source of increased revenue. Chart B is a pie chart which shows by department how we spend the revenue we collect. An additional $30.2 million not shown is non-departmental, like bond payments. The big four as shown are police, $71.3 million, which is up from $65.7 million last year, an 8.5% increase. Fire, $43.8 million, up from $42 million last year. Public Works, $23.8 million, up from $22.4 last year. And libraries, holding the same at $10.7 million. Everything else, all the other city departments, human services, planning, transportation, etc., $58.2 million. The city's contribution to the employee retirement system, which is known as CalPERS, continues to take a growing bite out of our budget. Chart C shows that the budget payments to CalPERS have actually remained remarkably stable from 2011 to 2015. Although our rates have soared, the increase has been offset by increased city employee contributions, so our budget costs during this time held in the lower $30 million range. Last year, it jumped up to $39 million. 4 years out, the forecast is a whopping $65 million. That's a 100% increase in 5 years. And based upon recent CalPERS actions that you may have read about in the paper, that number will get even worse. There is, however, some good news regarding our reserves, our savings account. Chart D shows that in 2008, our total reserves were approximately $46 million. Then during the Great Recession of 2008 to 2012, we drew down various reserves by $25 million in order to maintain city services. Since then, we've been rebuilding our rainy day fund so that it's almost back to pre-recession levels. We've accomplished this by adding savings generated by one-time payments and the elimination of some staff positions. Still, looking ahead, if we continue our current pattern of income and expenses, we'll find ourselves in a deficit position during fiscal year 2018, which begins this July. Chart E shows that expenses will begin to outstrip income by $3.6 million in FY18, and then more than doubling to $8.6 million within 4 years. So my primary message to you tonight is that this is not an acceptable outcome. We must continue to work hard to enhance income and reduce expenses. On the expense side, we've already implemented the relatively obvious savings. Since more than 70% of our budget is spent on personnel, and since we must pay our employees a competitive wage, the inevitable conclusion is that we cannot support the existing payroll of 2,200 city employees indefinitely. Further, if we're to maintain high-quality services, personnel reductions will mean eliminating some programs altogether. And since every program has a constituency, this will not be a popular effort. We must use the budget process in April and May as a comprehensive and collaborative review to determine what programs can be shifted to other funding sources or which activities are no longer necessary. We must make structural changes now so that we don't spend more than we collect. The biggest positive contributor to the income side of the equation is new development. Yet it's precisely this activity that provokes most of the intense disagreements in our city. How much new development should we allow? Where should it be located? What should it look like? How will we manage the traffic that it generates? How will we supply the water? This debate rages even after several general plan cycles, which took great pains to include public input and consider these very questions. To try and shed some light on this, I thought I'd share the following information. 1, Pasadena is not adding vast amounts of new development. Let me repeat that. Pasadena is not adding vast amounts of new development. 2, we have adequate water to supply the new development. And 3, traffic is not approaching gridlock or even getting measurably worse. That's going to be the toughest one for you to believe. Here are some useful facts. Pasadena's population is not exploding. Since 2000, we have added 7,710 people over a 15-year period. That's 0.3% per year. LA County has added 0.44% per year over the same period. We've added 5,324 residential units over the same 15-year period, or 0.76% a year, less than 1% a year, and 1.3 million square feet of commercial space, or 0.61% per year. All of these numbers are less than 1% a year. Because of the cyclical nature of real estate development, annual residential growth has ranged during that period from a low of 20 units in the year 2000 to a high of 929 units in 2008. 2015 added 363 units. 363. Not explosive. Southern California will continue to grow as long as we have children and grandchildren. And while water is a growing concern on a regional level, it's far more efficient to meet the region's growing population in developed areas like Pasadena than to build in undeveloped areas which would require brand new infrastructure. Moreover, due to conservation and more water-efficient code requirements, our water use has declined from 226 gallons per day per person in 1997 to 148 gallons per day per person today. Pasadena's total water consumption in absolute terms in 2015 was the lowest it has been since 1952. And that's in spite of the modest growth in population and development that I described earlier. Now the favorite topic, traffic. As the downtown area grows more dense, the old suburban auto-dependent travel patterns no longer apply because the residents rely less on their cars. Instead, they walk, they bike, they take advantage of Uber and Zipcars. This trend is accelerating in cities around the world, and yes, believe it or not, also in Pasadena. Interestingly, despite the city's modest population growth and increase in new development, average travel time on our major arterial streets has only seen a slight increase since 2006. Swimming, children's playgrounds, soccer, archery, flea market, hiking, bird watching, fly casting, college football, entertainment, golf, charity walks, company picnics. The list goes on and on. But there are plans being made by outside agencies that could dramatically change the entire Arroyo Seco. The County Department of Public Works has a gigantic sediment removal plan in Cajamarca. The National Park Service is proposing to add the Arroyo to the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreational Area. The Army Corps of Engineers has a habit restoration study underway that could actually remove much of the concrete flood control channel. That's an applause line. At the same time, the city has developed multiple segmented master plans for the Arroyo. While we've invested $200 million to enhance the Rose Bowl and ensure its future viability, we have more than $80 million worth of unfunded projects in the rest of the Arroyo. Also, while golf is declining nationally, the Brookside Clubhouse is in need of a significant overhaul. Well, all of these issues swirling around, the administration of this key resource is divided between various city agencies, departments, commissions, and operating companies. During 2017, the City Council will work with the City Manager's Office, the Rose Bowl Operating Company, and residents citywide to step back and consider the entire Arroyo Seco in a comprehensive way, not just as a site for a huge variety of user-driven functions, but as the living, beautiful, natural heart of our city. We'll study best practices from other cities, activate new levels of citizen participation, explore how we can better spend city resources, and attract additional resources to invest in the future of the Arroyo Seco. Watch for it. All of the themes I've touched on tonight are designed to strengthen Pasadena's future. With your continued interest, stabilizing our finances, accommodating an appropriate level of new development, and imagining a renewed future for the Arroyo Seco will all contribute to a stronger and even more beautiful Pasadena. Thank you.